So an Indian is a Negro that could be an Ishmaelite. A shiftless and feeble-minded poor white could also be an Israelite, which is why they make confederacies with them, you know. Yeah. Yeah, man, we just talking about these maps, man. We're talking about Ishmael's migration. These Negroes, right? Because Morocco is already here. Just chilling by Tippecanoe, chilling under the Great Lakes, chilling under Chicago, Indianapolis, hijacking the Wabash River and the White River. You got to figure out which narrative y'all really want to keep, man. Because if you want to keep a narrative that you already here, you're going to have to get this work. And if you're going to keep a narrative that you ain't here, then you're going to have to respect the indigenous. But you can't have it both ways, my niggas. You can't have it both ways. You can't be here not choosing sides during the Chickamauga War. And you can't be over there with nothing to do with this, because that means you got nothing to do with this conversation at all. You hijack 101, you know, in terms of this ain't your spot. But if you say it's your spot, then you're gonna have to, you know, answer to why you let your brothers get rolled up on and why you assisted in the destruction of the tribes of Hasharah, the tribes that are created, the indigenous American. You're gonna have to get this word. You're gonna have to choose your destiny, man. If you don't tribe up with the real ones right here in so-called America, and you think you're gonna tribe up with yourselves, you already lost. The only hope of any tribes outside of the tribes of HaWah are to tribe up with HaWah, right? With yourself, really. We are putting a magnifying glass over a certain period of time where you didn't tribe up, right? Because we weren't even tribing up. 1810, right? We got the Kumses War popping off 1812. It's all happening. Tippecanoe. You got Fort Wayne over here. What about the treaties of Fort Wayne, right? Treaty Fort Wayne. Come on, man. Treaty of Fort Wayne, sometimes called the 10 o'clock line treaty. Okay, because they talking longitude and latitude on you. Or the 12-mile line treaty. It's an 1809 treaty that obtained. Damn. I thought it was 3 million. 30 million acres, man. 29,719,530 acres. Call it 30 million of Native American land for the settlers of Illinois and Indiana. Damn. That's why you got coming out of this, all these new lands being settled after 1809, right? 1820s, all that. You got all this stuff happening. You got Dansville, right? You got Mooresville. The negotiations primarily involved the Delaware tribe, but included other tribes as well. However, the negotiations excluded the Shawnee. This is why Tecumseh's popping off. we're gonna get back in, this we got another one. This Tecumseh push my taha conversation. And we're gonna get back in the Preston John investigation, legend and its sources. Keegan Brewer left the Aquatai battle, but we're picking it right here in the investigation. And we're gonna get back in this one, Indiana University Press, Tecumseh and push my tie, because this was the whole issue. He said, y'all can't speak for all indigenous people because you want to make a treaty and a confederacy with the hijack. You can't make a treaty that gives up all of our land. This Fort Wayne treaty gave up 29,700,000, 30 million acres of land to these new settlers that want to pop off Illinois and Indiana. The negotiations primarily involved the Delaware tribe, but included the other tribes, right? So the Delaware tribe must have definitely been down with these Moor situation. And these other tribes, which are involving this Push Mataha and the Choctaw Chickasaw, whole entire flow. However, the negotiations excluded the Shawnee, which of course, is connected with the Creek, which of course is connected with the Seminole, who were minor inhabitants of the area and had previously been asked to leave by the Miami war chief Little Turtle. Oh, now we in Turtle Island. Man, it's some more and more war. So besides the Miami territorial governor William Henry Harrison, we just got that whole situation with Harrison going back all the way up in genealogy to Push Mata and his sister. The treaty led to a war with the United States begun by Shawnee leader Tecumseh and other dissenting tribesmen in what became known as Tecumseh's War. So that treaty popped it off, and this is why they were having this discussion. And it was a last effort to try but all these tribes, such as the Delaware and these other tribes that wanted to make treaties, and they didn't want to include the Shawnee because they didn't want to include Israel. All this land, man, over a stroke of a pen. Look at all these other treaties. Wow. Wabash, Fort Wayne, St. Mary, 1818. That's right, a few years after the Tecumseh War popped off. Just check out the dates. Treaty on treaty on treaty. This is what it was all about. Yeah. Now we see. Yeah, Naga's finally seeing clearly.